Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. It's from Canto 2, Chapter 5, and Text 12. Without further ado, we'll start the class. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Yashodanandana Radhajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Radhajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivajagacharya Stotara Satasya Madhus Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivajagacharya Stotara Satasya Madhus Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavindi Ki Jai Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hare Hare Go. All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga Glories to the Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tirtha Swami Nityanamani Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Chitatmani Shri Guru Kavina Shakti Bhakti Nityanamani Narayana Namaste Naronte Vam Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Vujirayat Nashta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhavata Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 5, in Text 12. Tasmai Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhimahi Janmayaya Dujayaya Mam Vadanti Jagadgurum. Tasmai Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhimahi Janmayaya Dujayaya Mam Vadanti Jagadgurum. Tasmai Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhimahi Janmayaya Dujayaya Mam Vadanti Jagadgurum. Hare Krishna.
Tasmai namo bhagavate vasudevaya dhimahi yanmayaya turjayaya mam vadanti jagadgurum. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Word for word. Tasmai unto him. Nama, offer my obeisances. Bhagavate, unto the personality of Godhead. Vasudevaya, unto Lord Krishna. Himai, do meditate upon. Yat, by whose? Mayaya, potencies. Vijayaya, invincible. Mam, unto me. Vadanti, they say. Jagat, the world. Gurum, the master. Translation by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. I offer my obeisances and meditate upon Lord Krishna Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, whose invincible potency influences them, the less intelligent class of men, to call me the Supreme Controller. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As will be more clearly explained in the next verse, the illusory potency of the Lord bewilders the less intelligent to accept Brahmaji, or for that matter, any other person, as the Supreme Lord. Brahmaji, however, refuses to be called this, and he directly offers his respectful obeisances unto Lord Vasudeva, or Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, as he has already offered the same respects to him in the Brahma Samhita, Chapter 5, Text 1. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Adi Govinda Savakarana Karanam. The Supreme Lord is the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, the primeval Lord in his transcendental body, the ultimate cause of all causes. I worship that primeval Lord Govinda. Brahmaji is conscious of his actual position, and he knows how less intelligent persons, bewildered by the illusory energy of the Lord, whimsically accept anyone and everyone as God. A responsible personality like Brahmaji refuses to be addressed as the Supreme Lord by his disciples or subordinates. But foolish persons, praised by men of the nature of dogs, hogs, camels, and asses, feel flattered to be addressed as the Supreme Lord. Why such persons take pleasure in being addressed as God, or why such persons are addressed as God by foolish admirers, is explained in the following verse. Oma Gnati Virandasya Jnana Jana Shalakaya Chakshu Militam Jena Tasma Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschatya. Namo Mahavadanyaya, Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya, Krishna Chaitanya Namni Goyatishe Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadha Sivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. The English translation of a text again. I offer my obeisances and meditate upon Lord Krishna Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, whose invincible potency influences them, the less intelligent class of men, to call me the Supreme Controller. So this is Lord Brahma speaking, and he's speaking to Narada Muni. Narada Muni is Lord Brahma's son, and Narada Muni has asked Lord Brahma quite a few questions connected with the creation. But he also put in a point which is quite important for Lord Brahma to actually use that to explain to Narada Muni, and therefore to all of us that are hearing, that he is in a particular position that he's very much aware of, and that position is not Supreme Controller. So he makes it clear to Narada that yes, there are some people who see me as the Supreme Controller. Me means Lord Brahma as a Supreme Controller, only because they've seen and they know, either they heard or saw, but the one way or the other, they know. This material world, this universe, and its varieties is all due to the way Lord Brahma put it together. The ingredients were not made by Lord Brahma. The ingredients were supplied to the Lord Vishnu. But to put it all together into this phenomenal world, the different planets, the emotions around the sun is actually a reflection of the Brahma Jyoti, the effulgent rays of the Lord. But to put things in position and put them in circulation, orbiting, and the things that are present in every single planet of the millions of planets, that's all by Lord Brahma. Therefore, somebody can look at that and say, Lord Brahma is the real creator. Everything here is under his control. It came from him. Therefore, he's Supreme Controller. And Lord Brahma is saying that people who think like that, they are the less intelligent class of men. And it is, in fact, the Lord whose invincible potency influences them to think that way. But the fact of the matter, Narada, is that I am not the Supreme Controller. Krishna has given me some control, limited control, but everything that has been put together in this universe came from Krishna. The ingredients are supplied by Krishna, therefore he is the real primeval, major creator. As we know, for any product to be put together, the parts need to be there. If you bring it down to even cooking, you want to make sabji, you cannot make sabji out of nothing. You may be the one to make the sabji, but there are energies to cook it, heat. There are the different aspects of vegetables, the different types of vegetables that have to be put into or cut up and put in a certain sequence in order to make the sabji. You cannot make it without the ingredients. And all the ingredients come from nature. And who put nature there? Krishna. So Lord Brahma is saying that, yes, he's down the line in terms of creation, but he is not the supreme. This is truthfulness, and it is very important in our lives to also live a life of honesty, truthfulness. Lord Brahma could easily have said, well, people are looking at me this way, and after all, this varieties in the universe came from my thinking, and therefore, if they call me Supreme Controller, why not? After all, they're praising me. Lord Brahma preferred to tell the truth, especially since Narada saw him meditating. And when you meditate on someone or something that you want, or when you're on someone, the thought personality is higher than you. And so Lord Brahma did that, and Narada Muni was able to put 2 and 2 together and say there has to be a higher personality. Lord Brahma admitted that, and even said those who are less intelligent don't realize that there is a Supreme Controller, Lord Krishna, and they want to call him Brahma the Supreme Controller. And there are some people that do. They call Brahma Bhagwan. Some people call Shiva Bhagwan. But they are not at the level of Lord Vishnu. They are not. A devotee thinks that way. That's the second offense in the 10 offenses. The name of Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are not equal to or independent of the holy name of Lord Vishnu. That we have to accept. So, the illusory potency of the Lord, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, it makes the less intelligent accept Brahmaji, and sometimes even persons lower than Brahmaji in potency, and call them the Supreme Lord. Especially when people meet someone with some of the yoga mystic siddhis. They're able to do some things that are incredible. And then they say he's God. If he says he's God and he's doing all of these, applying the mystic siddhis, people say, oh, he knows a lot. He must be God. But Brahmaji is being honest, and he refuses to be called the Supreme Controller. And he offers his respectful obeisances unto Lord Vasudeva. So if you read into that, you see, not only is Lord Brahma saying that he's not the Supreme Controller, but he offers his respectful obeisances. He just doesn't mention Lord Krishna or Lord Vasudeva. He offers his respectful obeisances. In other words, there's someone higher than me, Lord Brahma says, and I am his servant. He is master, I'm his servant. That's why the obeisances are being offered, respectful obeisances to Lord Vasudeva. Again, another thing to learn from it. Every time we come to the temple, we offer obeisances to the pure devotee of the Lord, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, the Murti or pictures there, we offer obeisances. Then we also have to offer obeisances to the deities. That's what actually should happen. You offer obeisances to the pure devotee of the Lord, and you offer obeisances to the Lord. So, Lord Brahma made it clear in the Brahma Samhita, in text 1 of chapter 5, Ishvara Parama Krishna. The Supreme Lord is the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Satchidananda Vigraha. His body is full of eternality, Sat, knowledge, Chit, and Ananda, pleasure. The Lord is always in a pleasurable mood. Unless there's situations for service to him by the devotees that touches his heart, then his mood may change. But he's always in a very, very, very wonderful, pleasant mood, sometimes in a prankster type mood, depending on who he's relating to, especially the older gopis. He may play pranks with them, and sometimes the younger gopis too. But that's just when he's being, himself in his way in which he likes to behave to those people, because they love it. This is a loving exchange. But we have to understand his Supreme Personality, whether he comes in a baby form, or is in a youth form, or is grown up, or whatever. The Lord is always the same, the Supreme Controller. Anadi Adi Govinda. Govinda, the Lord, who gives pleasure to the cows and to the senses. That's what Govinda means. He has no beginning, but he is the beginning of everything. Mm-hmm. Srila Prabhupada gives an analogy to define Sri Krishna. He is a Supreme Father. So Srila Prabhupada's analogy is that if you have a father, you have to consider that the father that you have is also one who has a father you call the grandfather. And that particular personality that is the grandfather also has a father, great-grandfather. And that personality has another father, great-great-grandfather. You call those. Some of them, they have left their body even before we were born. But the whole following that trend, father to grandfather to great-grandfather to great-great-grandfather, who also has a father, who also has a father. So they're all being born from fathers. And then you get to that personality who does not have a father, and that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's why Anadi is there. Anadi Adi Govinda. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't have a beginning, but he's the beginning of everyone and everything. Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the cause of all causes. The cause of all causes. Mm-hmm. So we worship the Lord. Brahmaji is directing us. Mm-hmm. And less intelligent people are trying to call him the Lord, but he says it's because of the illusory energy of the Lord. We have to be very careful to place things in the right context and place people in the right positions. The Shastra guides us very, very clearly in that respect. But sometimes, as Srila Prabhupada says, sometimes foolish persons are praised by men of not so great intelligence, like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. Srila Prabhupada writes that in his purport, but actually this is a quotation from another part of the scripture about people having the mentality of dogs or the mentality of pigs or mentality of camels or mentality of donkeys. And some people feel very flattered when they are addressed like that by such people of low mentality. And Srila Prabhupada says, why such persons take pleasure at being addressed as God will be talked about in the following verse. But those persons want attention. It is the false ego. They simply want attention. And that's why they do that. Feel happy when they are said, they are described as God. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, which is the Canto Udon, but the early chapter, chapter 3, text 19, he describes what's said different part of the Shastra earlier. We said that the dogs, hogs, camels, and asses Srila Prabhupada was using in his purport is actually part of the scriptures. It is in this particular text, Canto 2, chapter 3, text 19. Swavid Barahoshta Kare Samstita Purusha Pashu Ya Nat Karna Pato Peto Jatu Nama Kada Aja. So, Swa, dog, Vidvaraha, the village hog, Ustra, the camel, and Karai, the asses. Yashatma Budi Kunape Tidatuke, Swadi Kalata Dishiboma Ischedi, Yateta Budi Salilena Kahiche, Janesu Abigeshu, Saeva Gokara. And that is in the 10th canto, chapter 34, text 13. Sri Prabhupada quotes it a lot. Yashatma Buddhi Kunape Tridasuke. The man who thinks that this bag full of mucus, bile, and air, Kaphavita Vayu, is actually them, people who think that they are their bodies. You see, animals think that they are the bodies. So people think they're the bodies. Then they're thinking at an animal level. Mentality is low then. Swadi kalata dishibuma ishtidi. That they're thinking that their spouses or the family members are their property, an extension of them. Those who think that where they are born, the country they are born from, is worshipable, therefore they label themselves based on that. And of course, that's being done very widespread. So family is an extension of me. That's people who don't know. They think in terms of the body. The family is actually a group of souls together for a particular karmic reason in that particular lifetime. That's it. For a particular karmic reason, those souls are together. And they came in a certain order of birth, and therefore there's a father, there's a mother, there's a son, there's a daughter, and so on. But the real reason is true karma we put together. And we're supposed to transcend material life and go back to Godhead. So we're supposed to live that lifestyle that puts us in the human platform in terms of the aim of a human. The goal is to develop love of Godhead, but the aim, which should come from a human being's intelligence, not an animal's intelligence, a human being's intelligence, is what is going to be my next body after this one? Am I going home? Am I going to have this soul that's atomic and inside this heart of mine expand to its fullness, and that would be the body in the spiritual world? Or am I going to be leaving this physical body and taking another body based on what I'm thinking at the time of death? And what should I be thinking at the time of death? These are all important questions that come to the mind of a person with the type of intelligence because of the human body. But the translation of this chapter 3 of Canto 2, text 19, he says, men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastime of Lord Krishna, the deliverer from evils. So here's the proof that Srila Prabhupada uses the word dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. So we're saying that, so we realize that Srila Prabhupada is not deliberately insulting anyone, but this is Shukadeva Goswami's words. Maharaj Pariksit agreed to it. When we have a situation where we're thinking that we're the bodies, then we're thinking at the animal level. That's why we quoted the other one earlier. In the third line of it, we talked about Yashatma Buddhi Kunape Tirasuke, Sodi Kalata Dishiboma Ishidi. Now to continue, Yatirtha Buddhi Salilena Kahichit. This is a very, 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 very important instruction even for devotees. Yatirtha Buddhi Salilena Kahichit. Salile is water. Those who go to the theaters, the places of pilgrimage, just to bathe in the river, the holy river, and buy some items in the stores. And they say they finished. This is their vacation. They've gone to a holy place. Now, we're not beating that down. To go to a holy place, it's better to go to some kami vacation someplace else, because the holy place will make you think about Krishna. Janeshu abigeshu sa eva gokara. Janeshu abigeshu, he says that we need to be present in the presence or seek those people who know the spiritual history of the place and the spiritual potency of the place and can describe it. When we go on those places, go to those places, that's who we need to have that conversation with. It's not enough to just simply bathe in the holy river and dump some negative karma into it. This is another story from another part of the Bhagavatam. He talks about that. People will leave their negativity by bathing, they get purified. Therefore, the sins have to go somewhere. So those people who don't get some lecture in the holy place of pilgrimage, the places that are there, and someone to tell them the significance of those places and the pastimes involved in it and how it connects to Krishna consciousness, and give us some advice so we can live with that advice, they have wasted their time. So Eva Gokara. Sa means he, Eva certainly, Go means cow, and Kara means donkey, ass. So we always should seek the important underlying historical, spiritual statements wherever we are, in the temples, and especially in the places of pilgrimage. Why things happen the way they are happening. And those who live there are those who are pure, who can teach. You should always strive to get that. So, unfortunately, modern life is teaching us to stay as Shudras. Not only to be Shudras, but to stay in that Shudra mentality. Now life is such that people go to university, they get an education, and what happens? Whatever they told, sometimes you even find out that from the Shastra, it doesn't quite gel with what's being told in the university. Unfortunately, if you write what's in the Shastra, and if it's against what's being taught, you're going to be graded mistake, even though you're right, and then your grades will be low, and therefore, in the rest of your life, your academic transcript is going to have low grades on it. So we're forced to kind of think and speak about what these people are thinking, these scientists that have relative knowledge and instrumentation that is limited, and their own mentality that's also limited. But this is a modern university. Prabhupada says that modern university education, this practically prepares one for a doggish mentality. What happens when a person finishes education? They put their resumes together and they try electronically from one company to another with applications. And most of the time, there's nothing here, no vacancy like that. Or sometimes some people are chosen and therefore the next step is an interview. And then some people are going to be given a letter, one-liner. Thank you for expressing interest in us. We wish you well in going to the next door for the next job. But here we have there's no place for you. The dogs go from place to place like that, looking for a master. It's going to be easier on me when I get a master. This is a dog. The stray dog that is in bush, Krishna takes care of him, but the life is harder than a dog who is domesticated. So it's like that. And then you have to be faithful. The job may be something that everything inside you is screaming that you don't like, but you do it anyway. Why? Because we need the money. Why? Because we have to pay the bills in order to live. So this is the mentality. Now, it affects devotees too, but we have one more thing. Devotees can dovetail their activities towards Krishna and chant the holy name of Krishna. The Lord Chaitanya has made available and an easy way to connect with Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada has said many times in many lectures that without the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, none of us could connect with Krishna. None. Nobody could connect with Krishna. It's a difficult process to connect with Krishna, much less even develop love of Krishna. But all of that is made possible simply by chanting the holy name. If you chant the holy name, the Lord is one who has, as Lord Chaitanya described it in Shikshashtaka, he has put all his potencies in the holy name. And he's also absolute. So when you chant the Lord's name, you have the Lord dancing on your tongue practically. So that is the easy way, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, that we can connect instantly with Krishna. Otherwise, we have no chance. Otherwise, we have no chance. Therefore, it is to our advantage that not only should we chant on the beats, we should sing the Hare Krishna mantra, and it should be on our tongue practically the whole day, and on our minds practically the whole day. It is the way to connect with Krishna. We don't know Krishna, much less, we don't know him, much less love. Very little we know about Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said, at least we should know Krishna Stu Bhagavan Swayam. He is the Supreme Personality, just like Lord Brahma says here. That much we should know. Details of his supremacy may vary from one place to another, but nobody knows it in full because it's unlimited. But we should constantly think about Krishna and serve Krishna, and by doing that, we get Krishna's attention. And so many benefits are there. Protection. It's incredible how much protection the Buddhists get just by focusing on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and serving with our hearts. Never turn down service. Never downplay service. We cheat our own selves. Never allow Maya to come up with a reason against someone in authority or whatever as a reason why you don't want to do service. Never let material things and our connection with material things keep us from doing service. All of these things will work against us. I remember my own instance. When I came to Krishna consciousness, I was going from one religious organization to another, trying to get more answers about who God was. Starting out as Christian, specifically as Catholic, I went to other places where also Christian. The questions were still not being answered. I went to the Baha'i faith, the questions were not being answered. Then there was somebody that actually connected me to Buddhism, and I left there. I was the quickest that I left because Buddhism, now Srila Prabhupada explains, zero. They're voidists. That's who they are. Now I can put a term to it, but I realized, oh, God is impersonal to them. The way they answered me when I asked them, who is God? The person that was the Buddhist leader said that you have to understand God is a phenomenon. Now, I already know that God is a personality and his son is Jesus. So you tell me it's a phenomenon and I'm gone. I didn't waste too much time there in Buddhism. Although I knew that their chanting, their mantras that they chant, one particular mantra, it calms you down. That's no question about it. Because I used it and I saw the effect of it. But God is not a phenomenon. Can't possibly be a phenomenon. So then I left. Islam, yes, we learned some things from them. The questions didn't get answered. We came to Krishna consciousness. Then I got the opportunity to meet the personality that became my guru. And then I started talking about things that were unpleasant when I was with the Muslims. I felt that I was being cheated. I felt that I was being cheated. And I pointed to the management. And Bhakti Swami listened to me carefully. And at the end, he just said one sentence. He said, they did this to you, but God didn't cheat you. And immediately my intelligence kicked in and said, yeah, that's true. God didn't cheat me. So the point of it is, if you're not going to serve God because of someone else, then you're the loser because God hasn't done anything to you. So that's something to think about. I had to think about it. He says, God didn't teach me. That one sentence that he said, I stayed. There's so much wisdom in that one sentence. I said, I'm not leaving this place. This is a very special personality that I'm in the presence of. Mm? And that's why we stayed in Krishna consciousness. So hogs, they have no discrimination. They eat all kinds of foodstuffs. People are looking at like that. They're eating all kinds of foodstuffs themselves too. It's very, very unfortunate. Even in sex life. Why do we have incest? If you know the definition of incest, you know what happens in the family. Pigs do that. They don't discriminate between mother, sister. No, they don't. So they are real gross type animals. And we shouldn't act like that. Human being is not meant for eating just anything. We're meant to eat grains, vegetables, fruits, milk. Animal food is not for the human beings. The Papa comes right out and says, we have some so-called canine teeth. And every time I talk about canine teeth of humans, I start laughing about it because when you look at the tooth structure, that place that tooth there is called canine that we had to learn. I look at a dog's canine teeth or a cat's canine teeth or a tiger's canine teeth. You see a picture of it, you cannot miss it. It is long and it stands out. We don't have that type of teeth. But in that same spot for the tooth structure of humans, they say, okay, well, that one is canine. For what it's worth, try to tear meat with it. The animal has no problem with the canine teeth. Those ones that eat flesh as the natural way of living or feeding. Yet ours, going on to the back of the tooth structure, molars and premolars as they're called, it can easily grind, just like the horse can grind easily, just like the cow grinds easily. That is the type of structure that we have, very similar to this. And so we're meant to eat the type that they eat, fruits and vegetables. So the two canine, the four, one up, down, the other side, two, those are concessions. But we're not supposed to eat. A human being is vegetarian. And as the camel cheats themselves. Camel is the kind of animal likes to eat thorns. While the camels have a tongue, just like we have a tongue. So the camel likes to eat thorns, takes the thorn, starts chewing on it, and thorns are like pins, and they will prick the inside of the mouth. They prick the tongue of the camel, and of course, it will draw blood. But blood has some sweetness to it, as well, if you taste the blood, you know it is like that. The camel thinks that combination is so sweet. Literally, they are mixing their own blood with the thorns and thinking that mixture is wonderful. So, sucking our own blood, life in the material world is maintained that way, by sucking one's own blood. The Prabhupada explains. Materialistic life is full of thorns, as we well know. Anxiety all over the place. Anything can happen at any time. Anything can happen at any time. Why are people coming to the United States? Because it has more to supply, and the type of situation of government here is such that anyone can try hard to make money and become wealthy. Anyone. There's no rules by it. You can give it a try. And there's so much here that people get more, or they're able to do more with the finances. Therefore, they get more attracted here. I just have to work hard and I'll be in a position where I can also have a decent material life. Therefore, they want to come here. It's just human nature to have a comfortable situation. But actually, the most comfortable situation is in the spiritual world. This jail life is not going to give us life outside of anxiety. We will always go through anxiety wherever we are. So, to suck one's own blood, there's not much more to explain. The camel does that, chewing thorny twigs. And we get into problems. And the donkey, well, as Papa said, it's celebrated as the greatest fool, even among, not mentioned humans with donkey mentality, even among the animals. The donkey works very hard. The person involves the donkey carrying very, very, very heavy burdens on their backs without making much profit for itself. Sound familiar? You're working for $1 billion company. How many billions of dollars do we make? How many millions do we make? A lot of people are not even into $500,000. No, not even that. And they work very, very hard. Deny the sleep. Talk to the surgeons. Their work is finished based on when the surgery is finished. That's very, very, very well known. But even people who are chemists, who work in research, they also go home based on where they can actually conveniently stop the reaction. If the reaction is going to take hours, because we've been through it myself. If the action takes hours and you started it and it's going the way it's going and it's not finished, if you don't finish it, you'll have to start all over. It's like that. Just like the patient is rolled into the surgical theater and it's going to go on until the surgery is complete. Whatever complications come and how much time it takes, too bad. The person has to stay in. We work very hard, and that's the way it is. Even in some places where the donkey is engaged by the washerman, who puts a lot of items for washing on the back of the donkey, and then straps a contraption with just a small amount of grass that the donkey is attracted to, but is hooked on to the neck area, just out of reach of the mouth of the donkey. So the donkey wants to take it, he has to reach it. So then he starts walking to get to the grass. But the contraption is hooked to his neck. So as he walks, the contraption also moves. So it's almost like you can see it. If I only took a few steps, I can get to the grass. But actually, he never gets to the grass because the grass is in a container strapped on to the back of his neck. Therefore, when he moves, the contraption also moves, and you can see the grass, but you can never get to it. So the ass is food like that. In the meantime, it's carrying a heavy load. We don't think about employment that way, but actually, if we really want to be honest with ourselves, many of us are in that situation. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. What do we think? What is our grasp? Promotion. We're going to be promoted. If we just keep working, we're going to get promoted. So why do people change jobs then? I thought we we're going to get promoted. You see, the promotion is not coming because human beings are not like donkeys. They can see it. And there's so many terms given in America by that. The transparent ceiling. You see that some people are on the top of that. They are there, and I'm here, but I can see the promotion, but I can never get to it. The contraption has been put in front of the donkey, and he's walking, and not getting to it. So out of frustration, then people say, I'm going to change jobs then. I want more. Hmm? When we come to Krishna consciousness, Krishna would arrange our material life, even that's arranged in such a way that, yes, there's some frustration, but the word is not attached to it. We tolerate because we know that if we do the right thing in Krishna consciousness, we're going to go home and we'll never be in anxiety again. And we'll never be fooled by anyone because there in the spiritual world, everything is available. Everything is available much better than here. And no one needs to get employed just to live. So this is the life that's here. So the conclusion is one must engage in work directly or indirectly to satisfy the senses of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is what brings happiness. That's what brings happiness to one's life. Now, if we really want to fast track the happiness, fast track, help other people with their problems, then your problems will be solved easily. Why? Because the Lord in the heart knows what our problems are. And when we help others, we are helping another creature of the Lord. When we help others, Krishna himself doesn't need anything from us. Whatever we have was from him. We have to serve his senses as a way to be happy ourselves. When we help others with their problems, then Krishna solves our problems a lot more easily. So our work should be directly or indirectly done to satisfy the senses of the Lord. And we should help other people with their problems. The third one, there's only 4. No one should be abusive to anyone else. If anyone is abusive to someone, that abuse is going to be levied on that person in his or her next life. Be very careful what we say, especially those of us living with devotees. It's very, very, very important to be careful what we say and how we say it. If we make other persons get upset or hurt, the person may ignore it, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not. Does not. Many things happen that we don't know, that underneath it, the Lord is seeing it all. The deity is seeing everything. And finally, we should chant the Lord's holy name constantly. That's what gives purification. So our work should be dovetailed towards Krishna consciousness, serving the senses. At the very least, bring some of the paycheck to the temple to help in projects that the temple management will tell us about, or just for the regular maintenance of the temple. It's in the material world, therefore, it also has bills that have to be paid. You help people with their problems, your problems will be solved. Don't offend others, because if you offend, we're not going back home for one. And if you're abusive, then we'll be in an abusive relationship more than likely in our next life just to learn our lesson. And finally, chant the Lord's holy name for purification. Now, from this, the obvious thing that follows is we have to be honest, because Lord Brahma could easily have accepted the position after all the creation part that he did from Narada, that he was boss. But he says, no, I'm not. I'm not. He was being honest. We also have to be honest. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much for coming on for this this lecture today. By the Lord's mercy, Guru and Guranga. This is the time to unmute yourself if you want to share some of the takeaways or whatever that's on your mind, the question form that you want to ask, you can do that also. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisance, August your
Accept mine.
Prabhupada. Thank you. There was one point that you mentioned, towards the end that really stuck with me. Few points that you mentioned in the lecture, but this was very powerful, where you mentioned, and I think I've heard that from someone else too, I don't remember who, that our problems go away when we help others. That, I think, is a concept that we struggle with, because we just don't see how that happens. That I think is a concept that we think, okay, but it's my problem, but I'm helping someone else with their problem. How will my problem go away when I'm helping someone else with their problem if they're different? Because
Excellent question. Excellent question. Glad you brought
yeah,
it
can
up
you,
like that. Go ahead. Mhm.
yeah. So can you address that? Because, it's like, like real, like really, like, how does it work?
Now, so the point was, if we help others with their problems, then our problems will be solved. How does that work? Well, first of all, when we help others, we're developing a quality that is extremely important. It's called kindness and compassion. This is how we practice kindness and compassion, by helping others. Now, how do our problems get solved? We have to remember one thing. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is in the heart. And secondly, there's nothing that he cannot do. So that's the answer. We could explain it a little more. It's not like we can solve our problems, but when we help others, our problems get solved because the Lord is pleased with us. He's seen what we've done, and therefore he solves our problems for us, solves our problems because we were open to solving others. The great advantage to that also is that if you are a Krishna conscious devotee of the Lord and you help others, make others now interested in you because they like you as a good person, because you are helpful, and therefore a good relationship then starts between you and the person that you helped. It is very easy for the person who believes in a person who likes you to believe the things that you say. Therefore, you can pull that person to Krishna consciousness, just like that, from a good relation. This is very, 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 very important. So many people we've seen, they will bring co-workers. They're able to bring them into the temple. Why? Because they have good relations with them. The workplace is the place through which they met. But it's the relation that actually has brought them to the mindset of following that particular devotee to the temple. It's all relation. Being kind, being nice, being helpful. So we do need to, it's Krishna that will help our problems. We help others, Krishna takes care of our problems. That's how that works. Therefore, every time we're talking to anyone, devotee or non-devotee, whatever situation that they bring up that's difficult for them, try to find a solution. Don't say anything. Try to find a solution to it. If the solution is just a verbal thing, yeah, sure, you can say it then. But sometimes it takes going, putting that at the back of your mind, whatever their problem is, and finding a way to do it. I'll give one example. It happened to me. There was a place that I go. Many of us have a primary care doctor, and therefore lives or works in a particular hospital. We go there. And there was one nurse that has been very kind to me over the years, couple of years that I've been going there. She's been very kind. And then she began to reveal, after I got to know her a little bit, she began to reveal some things. And she's married, and they want a child, but she's going through the unfortunate situation of getting miscarriages. And it's hard to even believe the number of miscarriages. They had a lot of miscarriages. So they haven't even had their first child yet. Then she revealed to me that she's pregnant now. Oh, so I'm thinking, here's another child. What can I do? I'm not a doctor. I could say, oh, okay, well, I sympathize, maybe I'll pray for them. No, I went online and said, how do you deal with miscarriages? So many things came up. And I looked at one situation and I wanted a natural way because there's an article from NIH that already have described how some particular herbs and then some particular allopathic medicines, they compared those two and see which one worked well. The herbs were much better. And these were Chinese herbs. So I scrolled on, Chinese herbs prevent miscarriage. One letter came, very short letter, one paper, and information was there, what it does, and how to prepare the herbs and all that on one sheet. So I printed it and I went and gave it to her. I said, we talked about this your miscarriage situation. Here's something that I found online to look at it. She looked at me. She was almost teary. She says, you didn't have to do this. I said, you helped me a lot in so many ways. So let her have it. So it's like that. It's not something anybody can practice that. It's not so difficult. Just take whatever they mention to you to heart at the back of your mind and see how you can provide a solution. And the best part is you don't let them know that you're even trying to provide a solution. When you get the solution, you just go there, meet them, and give them that solution. If you've tried it, then they know you care. Now, would it be difficult next time to talk to them? Can you come to the Rath Yatra? Of course they will. Bring the whole family. That's how you start their Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the question. Any others? We will be happy when we help others. The more you help others, the happier you are. The more you complain, the sadder you become. That's all. Any final questions? If not, then thank you very much for coming on. I know it's Thanksgiving holiday. Some people may have traveled. They may not have access to the internet or where they are, especially Zoom. But thank you. So have a wonderful weekend. And those of you that can make it to the temple that live in this area, absolutely. We'll see you at the temple on Sunday. Hare Krishna. Panchakalpatarubhishcha kripa sindhubhya eva jaktitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vaishnava Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bless you all.